With the Harvey Hour. My name is Nathan Harvey. That's what it is. Stephen Harvey. Great way to start off the show. Great way to start off this all on a Friday. Just quickly, how are you doing today on this Friday?
I'm doing great. I'm looking forward to the 2 games this weekend, man. This is it. Championship weekend.
Yeah, we got a lot to get into.
AFC, NFC.
Yep. MVP finalists have been announced, so there's a lot to get into. Let's start with the first game. Let's start off right off the bat with the New England Patriots going up against the Denver Broncos. This is a controversial game because the Patriots, easiest schedule, easiest pathway, now at the face of quarterback that hasn't started a game since 2023 in Jarrett Stidham, former draft pick of Bill Belichick and of the New England Patriots. He gets maybe a revenge spot for him after the Patriots let him go. Now Drake May has to face this Broncos defense, and Jarrett Stidham has to deal with the Patriots defense and Sean Payton saying that the fans will have 2 weeks to rest up, over cheering and maybe losing their voices after cheering in this game. So a little bit of shot at the Patriots. So overall, I want to know who takes the AFC crown and makes the Super Bowl. Will it be the New England Patriots or will it be the Denver Broncos?
Well, as you said, Jarrett Stidham hasn't thrown a pass in a real game in 2 years. And now he's going to take the Broncos to the Super Bowl? I doubt it. 2 advantages for Denver, though. They have the home field advantage. They're 15-3 at home over the past 2 years. They play in the thin air at Mile High Stadium. They have a great defense. They're first in yards per play allowed, 4.5. Second in total defense, 278.2 yards per game. And third in scoring defense, 18.3 points per game. They had 68 sacks this season, 11 more than any other team, and the sacks came from almost everybody on defense. They were all over the place. You don't know who's going to be getting the sacks. It's a very well-balanced defense, one of the best. The Patriots have given up 5 sacks in each of their previous playoff games, so that could be an issue. But the Patriots counter with being 8-0 on the road this season. That's pretty good. They scored 21 points on the best defense in football last week, their offense, and also had a pick 6, Marcus Jones. Their own defense is, I think, very good. 4th fewest points in the regular season, 18.8. Milton Williams, Kyrie Tonga, and Robert Spillane are back from injury, and the defense seems to be peaking at just the right time. The offense, I think, is excellent as well, tying for first in yards per play at 6.2, second in scoring, 28.8, and third in total offense, 379.4 yards. The Patriots are familiar with Stidham from his time with with them, and Josh Daniel was his offensive coordinator for 3 years. Give me the Patriots.
Okay, what's the score?
The score, I believe, will be 28-21.
Oh, I don't think it's going to be that high scoring. This is the reason why. This offense will not do anything. Neither offense will do anything. I think both defenses are going to come up big, just like what we saw against the Houston Texans and the New England Patriots. Both quarterbacks made a lot of mistakes, and it was which defense will break first, which defense will hold on for dear life and come out on the other side. And fortunately for us, because we picked the Patriots were that team to come out on the other side. We have Jarrett Stidham, who hasn't thrown a pass in 2-3 years at this point, and now he's making his first start in that length of time. Drake May has 6 fumbles, as you see in the lower third here. Drake May has 6 fumbles in the last 2 games. And I think it's going to come down to one thing. If the Patriots are going to win this game, it's going to be because of 2 reasons. One, it'll be Drake May can get hit without fumbling, which has been a massive issue basically his entire career. Dumb interceptions, dumb mistakes, and getting hit, and has butterfingers and dropping the ball. My fear is that if the Broncos hit Drake May, and ultimately they will, the Patriots are 25th in pressure rate allowed. It's not great for Drake May in the backfield there. I have a funny feeling it was fortunate for the Patriots that he would fumble and turn the ball over, and the defense wouldn't pick it up or go anywhere. My fear is with this Broncos defense and what we've seen over the course of Sean Payton's tenure there, especially the last 2 years, is they'll turn turnovers into defensive touchdowns. And if Drake May keeps fumbling the ball, I could definitely see Cooper or Allen or Nick Benito running it back for 6 on a fumble return touchdown. And that's the second part. If the Patriots are going to win this game, it'll be because Will Campbell actually steps up. Will Campbell versus Nick Benito will be the key matchup in this game. Will Campbell got absolutely destroyed by, I think it was Will Anderson or Daniel Hunter, one of them on the edge, allowing 4 pressures, which was double anyone else on the team, allowing 2 sacks and 2 hurries. He had a PFF pass blocking grade of 16.5. And for a guy who said he was going to lay his life out on the line to protect Drake May, he's not doing that great of a job. So in order for the Patriots to win this game, Drake May will need to operate under pressure as he's done all season at a very high level. but he has to hold on to the ball when he's going to get hit because it's inevitable playing this great of a defense. I think the Patriots, and I'm a little bit nervous, Carlton Davis, if he's out there on, well, I think they play Sunday. If he's out there on Sunday, he was the only penalized defensive player for the New England Patriots. He had 3 penalties. No other defensive player had 1. And we've seen over the course of his tenure, yes, he had 2 really good interceptions against C.J. Stroud, who may have had the worst playoff performance by a quarterback, at least in recent memory. I am really, really afraid, and I understand the Broncos receivers aren't tremendous, but I'm afraid he may get cooked in this game. And it'll be, dink and dunk all the way to a Broncos victory. I think the Broncos have a legitimate shot, and I think it's just because of their defense. This will be a very low-scoring game. It'll be reminiscent of like the first 2-3 quarters of the Texans game before C.J. Stroud decided to just throw the ball away and play really poorly, so the Patriots had, ample opportunities to score. I'm saying this is going to be, I don't even know what the over-under is on this game. I think it might be like 44. I'm taking the under. I think this could be a 23-20 ball game. I think it's going to be very, very low scoring. I'm going to agree with you. I am taking the Patriots to win, but 4.5 for me with this defense is way, way too many points for the Patriots to cover. I understand it's Jarrett Stidham at quarterback, but I feel like with Sean Payton and with the amount of confidence he's portraying, I think he's going to have something up his sleeve, whether it be some weird trickery, whether it's, Vance Joseph just sending the house, whatever it is. I have a funny feeling that Sean Payton's going to dial up something weird. And I don't think Drake May is going to know what's coming. I don't think the Patriots defense is going to know what's coming. I've been very, very impressed with the way the Patriots have played. People calling it easy schedule. Again, you play the people on your schedule. I don't have an issue with who they played. I am very fortunate that we have to watch this Patriots team in the AFC Championship game after the performance we've seen the last 2 weeks with Drake May not being able to hold on to the football. So I'm taking the Patriots. I think this is going to be a very, very close ball game. Give me a 23-20. Give me the New England Patriots, but the Broncos plus 4.5.
Okay, so we agree except for the point spread.
Correct. I have a funny feeling it's going to be a very, very, very low-scoring game, and I think that 4.5 is way, way too many points. It's what's going to be a defensive contest between the two teams.
Well, I think that the Patriots' defense is special, and it hasn't really shown that much except in the last in the playoffs.
That's completely false.
No, please let me finish my point. I think it's a special defense. I think that the players have stepped up for Mike Vrabel. He has given them a culture that they hadn't had before, and I think that they have risen to the occasion. I think with the players coming back from injury, that they're going to do some special stuff on Sunday, and they're going to. I agree. I have 21 points for the Broncos. You've got 20. I think it'll be very tough for them. And I do think that the Patriots offense will find a way to score on the Broncos defense, as they did against the Texans. They had very good luck through the air against the Texans.
That's when Drake May wasn't fumbling. And yeah. I would not say they had great luck. Drake May played terrible. Both quarterbacks were abysmal.
I don't think he played terrible.
He had 2 good throws.
He had the good throw to Douglas for a touchdown.
Again, 2 good throws.
And the throw to Booty was an amazing throw.
2 good throws. What about every other throw? What about the fact he couldn't hold onto the ball? This turned into a defensive contest.
The fumbling is an issue. I grant you that. That is an issue. He's got to clean that up. He's got to put both hands on the ball.
But we would agree if it was any other quarterback that if he has 2 good throws and was bad, like for instance, did Caleb Williams have a good game against the Rams last week?
He had a good and bad game.
No. Did he have a good game?
Yeah, he did have a good game.
Based on what?
Based on the fact that he got him to overtime.
He threw 3 interceptions.
That was not good. That was the bad part of it. But he did rally the team, and they did come back, and they tied the game with seconds left.
That was maybe the luckiest throw ever.
On a play that was an amazing play. So I don't think that you can say he played badly. I do think he played like a second-year player. He made mistakes. He threw 3 interceptions. A couple of them were miscommunication throws. So, they got to learn from that, and they'll improve from that, I think, and they'll be right back there next year. But I don't think he had a bad game. I don't think it was a bad game.
I do have a question. You say the Patriots defense hasn't played this well all season, and where do you get that from?
Well, I think they played well during the season, but I think they've really stepped up here in the playoffs. I mean, they played well again. Look how they played against the Texans. 4 interceptions.
Right. That's because C.J. Stroud's
They put a lot of pressure on. They put a lot of pressure on Stroud. I thought they stopped the run. There was no run. He had no running game at all.
That's the thing that I'm not quite getting. They were the number 1 running defense for like the first half of the season. And the entire season, they were top 12 in yards per play allowed, number 9 in EPA per play, 4th in pass points allowed per game, and 10th in pressure rate. This has been the Patriots defense the entire year. It gets swept under the rug because it's under the umbrella of easy schedule. This has been the Patriots defense all season, just like how people were like shocked the Chargers defense was really good. They've been good all year. It's just that the offense couldn't put up points, so you didn't see the massive point differential gap. It looked like both a defensive game where the offense was going nowhere. No, the Patriots have been this good all season. And I think that one of the key injuries is Harold Landry is going to be out for this game. That's a big-time loss for them.
Oh, I didn't know that.
They spent a lot of money, and now he's going to be out for this game. So I think, again, this game will come down to 100% on Drake May. The defense, both defenses will either be really bad and it'll be closer to your score, or they'll play like they did last week and it'll be closer to my score. I think it'll be a low-scoring game. I understand the Broncos just gave up 30 points to the Bills, but this is going to be a completely different animal. Now you have a backup quarterback with a quarterback that struggles against a really good defense. Now, I say he's number 1 in like completion percentage, yards, whatever, under pressure. He's been a great under pressure quarterback. But last week and the week before was shockingly bad with just the amount of turnovers that he's had, or just fumbles that he somehow recovers. Mm-hmm. He needs to tone that down if he wants a serious shot at making it to the Super Bowl in his second year as a starter in the NFL.
I don't disagree.
All right, let's get into the next topic here, which is the NFC game. We're playing Sam Darnold and Matt Stafford, number 3 this season. It's the third bout between these two quarterbacks. Over the course of their careers, Sam Darnold and Matt Stafford. Matt Stafford has the edge, 3-2 record against Darnold, and as we remember, 1-0 in the playoffs. We remember that game last year, Vikings-Rams. Sam Darnold took 9 sacks as a member of the Minnesota Vikings, en route to one of the ugliest playoff games I've ever seen the Minnesota Vikings have. Sam Darnold, though, could redeem himself in this one and make it to the Super Bowl after being a castaway for the Panthers. For the 49ers, he was a backup there, had a serious shot with the Vikings, but the Vikings decided not to sign him back. And, of course, seeing ghosts with the New York Jets, he has a chance to redeem himself. Meanwhile, Matt Stafford could make it to his second Super Bowl in the last half-decade. So my question to you is, who will take the NFC crown, the Seattle Seahawks or the Los Angeles Rams?
Well, the Rams have won 2 playoff games on the road this season, but just barely. They squeaked out a win against the sub-500 Panthers team, needing a game-winning drive to win by 3 points. They needed overtime to beat the Bears, who basically beat themselves with the 3 turnovers, the 3 interceptions by Caleb Williams, and only scored 20 points on an average defense. Now they're going against maybe the best defense in the league in the Seahawks. I think their defense, look what they did against the 49ers. The 49ers weren't even really competitive in this game. The 2 teams split, very close games in the regular season. The Rams are trying to win a 3rd straight road playoff game, while the Seahawks have a first round bye and easily beat the 49ers, so the key players are well rested for this game. The number 1 scoring offense is 0-4 against the number 1 scoring defense in conference championship games since 1990. That's an interesting statistic. The passing yards leader is 0-6 in playoffs against number 1 scoring defense in the last 50 years. So that's another very interesting statistic. I think Stafford will need to perform at his best under pressure to have a chance to beat the Seahawks. He has the lowest passer rating under pressure of any of the postseason quarterbacks this year at 24.8. He's 6 for 20, 89 yards, no touchdowns, and an interceptions. The Seahawks have the 4th highest pressure rate at 38.9%. Doesn't look good for Matthew Stafford in this game. Has Darnold really gotten over the hump with his comeback win over the Rams in the regular season? Will his oblique injury affect his performance? These are questions that I have. He has 7 interceptions and 8 giveaways against the Rams since 2024. His passer rating since Week 11 is only 84.9, which is 23rd. Charbonnet is out, but Walker is playing well with at least 133 yards from scrimmage in each of the in 3 of the past 4 games. So I think it's going to be a close game. I like the Seahawks and the points. Basically, as they're playing at home.
You're finally giving up on Matt Stafford. You've been riding the Matt Stafford wave all season. This is a shocking pick for me.
See the way that
I did not see this coming.
The way the Seahawks have played recently, I just can't go against them now. I may be wrong. Maybe it's really going to be up to Darnold, I think, how he plays against the Rams. And he's gotten a little cover from the defense. He hasn't had to play. He hasn't had to do that much, and the running game has been pretty good. So his stats have been pretty low in these playoff games because he really hasn't had to do that much. So I think he's a little bit untested in the playoffs in a way. He's only played 1 game.
Correct.
Right? And he didn't have to do that much because the 49ers, they trounced the 49ers. So this game's big. This is a huge game. And he hasn't had much success against the Rams, except for that last time. But I feel like the Seahawks are on a momentum roll here. And I think they've got a culture there with McDonald that's really good, and I think they feel very confident. So, and they're at home, and that stadium is different from the others, the way it's built, keeping the sound in. I think it'll be very hard for the Rams, and particularly to win 3 playoff games on the road, very, very challenging for them. So, and given the way Stafford didn't play that well against the Bears. Right, he even said so, and so did McVay. McVay told the defensive coordinator Allen for the Bears, "Hey, you kicked our rear end in this game." So the Rams are a little shaky. They were shaky since they lost to the Panthers way back in the regular season. There, they haven't been the same team up till then. I thought, man, they're going to roll to the Super Bowl and win it. I don't feel that way now.
I'm shocked you picked the Seahawks because you've been on this Rams bandwagon for weeks at this point, maybe a month and a half. Maybe not bandwagon.
Not most recently.
Well, you picked them against the Bears. We both picked them against the Panthers.
Yeah, they won those games.
Exactly. So I'm shocked you'd hop. And you were, by the way, we talked about the 2 previous matchups. You picked the Rams in those games.
Yeah. I was right once.
Right. So the fact that in this matchup, situation.
I've been right 3 out of 4 times. But in this situation, the way the Seahawks played down the stretch, I think the Seahawks are going to win. Well, what do you think? Let's hear what you've got to say.
You picked the Rams even when they started being on that weird stretch.
Yeah, and that was wrong then.
Yeah, exactly. That's why it's so shocking to me.
That stretch started against the Panthers, which the way the Panthers have been playing, I thought it would be an easy game for the Rams. You picked them too.
Oh, I did. Well, yeah. Because everybody did. They were the Carolina Panthers. When have they garnered any level of respect yet? They've been a terrible franchise. Their quarterback just became passable. He's going to get his 5th-year option. It's going to be all about next year. What will we see another year of growth from Bryce Young? We'll see. Maybe he bounced back, and now he's having another bounce forward again.
I don't know.
That's your bounce quarterback there. So I'm definitely shocked you picked the Seahawks because that's what I'm going to pick. Absolutely. No, I've been on the Seahawks thing all year. And I think the way the Rams have seen, we still think in our minds, and you've brought it up like, I'm shocked the Rams defense is ranked this low. I think that's just because we're thinking about the Rams through the first half of the season. Since that Panthers game, points allowed, 31, 17, 34, 38, 27, 20, 31, and in the snow, by the way, 17. So it's not that crazy how low of a scoring is. But they allowed 27 points against Kirk Cousins, 20 points and 17 points against Jacoby Brissett. They allowed Bryce Young to cook them for 31 points, both times, I might add. I mean, the Lions put up 34 points when they said they hit rock bottom. So I'm a little bit shocked that you picked the Seahawks, after even going through this stretch, you are a big Rams guy. So, no, I'm picking the Seahawks, though. 100% I'm picking the Seahawks. I picked them to obliterate the 49ers, and look what happened. Obliterated the 49ers. Started off with a 95-yard kick return touchdown from Rashid Shaheed, which is my first point. The Rams are terrible in special teams. Sean McVay, for the first time in his coaching career, had an in-season firing of a coordinator. He fired his special teams coordinator earlier this year. They haven't figured out a kicker situation. They've been back and forth with a bunch of kickers all year, and it finally come down to the thick kick. I don't understand what's going on with the special teams, but it is one of the worst in the league. And now you're going up against probably the best special teamer right now in the NFL, Rashid Shaheed. I think Marcus Jones maybe deserves a little bit of credit up there. But what we've seen is Rashid Shaheed, at the value that they got him at as a third-round pick from the Saints, he's been absolutely instrumental for this team. Also, he could also receive catches. He could also take it from the backfield. I mean, he's a multi-tool kind of player. I think right now we're looking at a Rams team that is going through a weird phase. Matt Stafford, yes. I think that's a really good point that you bring up. Matt Stafford under pressure has been terrible. He's been, by the way, this is the second year in a row. He'd be close to the bottom or at the bottom for passer rating and also maybe PFF grade while under pressure. He does not do very well. Yes, he'll probably win the MVP, and we're going to talk about it a little bit later. But right now, it doesn't matter. The MVP will get absolutely destroyed by the Seattle Seahawks defense. The Rams this year are 0-2 straight up as underdogs. The Seattle Seahawks, 14-1 as favorites. That's in favor of the Seahawks. I think right now we're going to see two big-time players. One that's going to be Devin Witherspoon, defensive back of the Seattle Seahawks. He's the number one coverage guy, and I believe PFF graded him as the number one defensive back in the NFL this season. I think he needs to have a big game, and I think he will. Puka Nacua will get his 75 to 90 yards. I absolutely think that'll happen. And then it's just up to how do you minimize the number one receiving touchdown leader this year in Davante Adams, who only had a couple catches last week against the Bears. I think we're going to see, a Seahawks defense really do a number, is slowing down Kyren Williams. And what happened early in the game where the Rams offense couldn't exactly get it right? They weren't running the football, even though Kyren Williams having a very, very effective game. It was like 2 carries for 10 yards, 2 carries for 24 yards. In the first half, it's like, okay, why aren't they running it more? I just think the Seahawks defense will not allow them to run it at all. The 49ers never could really run the ball this season, but shutting down Christian McCaffrey to be basically a zero factor when it comes to actual effective running was actually massive in that game because Brock Purdy would need a security blanket. By the way, I might add, who's in the MVP race this year? CMC. Who's not? Brock Purdy. Again, piling it on from a couple years ago, and everyone's like, Brock Purdy's the MVP. I digress. The second player that I think is going to be extremely motivated and I think will have a big game is DeMarcus Lawrence. Because the Cowboys were always like, we're going to go to the Super Bowl. And now Jerry Jones says he wants to be the winningest owner of all time when it comes to Super Bowls. I don't think he's going to get there. Not a chance. But I think DeMarcus Lawrence was essentially rotting on the Cowboys. A lot of expectations, but obviously, as we've seen from Dak Prescott, he falls apart in the playoffs. I think DeMarcus Lawrence is going to have an incredible level of hunger to finally make his first Super Bowl. And I think that'll propel the Seattle Seahawks here to go up against the Rams, shut them down, shut down Kyren Williams and Blake Corum. They're going to try to do their weird jumbo package. They might come out in 11 personnel. I don't think it'll matter. I think Sean McVay called a very strange game against the Bears. And by the way, the Bears have a bottom 6 defense in the NFL, and they could only put up 20 points, and that 20 came in overtime. It was 17 in regulation. So I think that was just a really bad look for the Rams here. I just think the Seattle Seahawks are just a significantly better team. This is the Legion of Boom 2.0. I mean, they have dudes every which way on defense. I think K9, as soon as, unfortunately, Zach Charbonnet went down with a season-ending injury, all of a sudden, Clint Kubiak's like, hey, K9, do your thing. Ran for 3 touchdowns. Tied the Seattle Seahawks franchise playoff record with Sean Alexander for rushing touchdowns in a singular playoff game. So I think K9's going to have a great game against a Rams defense that really, I mean, we could be honest, really has been up and down through a lot of the season. They were great through the first half, and in the back 8, back 9, we're seeing a really, really kind of bad scoring defense, allowing a lot of points and a decent amount of yards. They have, let's see quickly here, 2 400-yard games allowed. I mean, that's not great in the back 9. 4 for the entire season. They had just had one against the Chicago Bears. How do you allow the Chicago Bears in the snow put up 17 points with Caleb Williams turning the ball over? You're allowing them to move up and down the field. If it wasn't for some weird, bad 4th down calls by Ben Johnson, hey, there's 9 guys on the defensive line on the 31. Let's run into the teeth of the defense. Okay, it's now 4th and 1. There's 9 guys on the line. Let's run into the teeth of the defense. That, to me, blew my mind. And also the really, again, weird play calling by Sean McVay, not running the ball more and playing their jumbo 3 tight end packages. For me, it was very weird. But for this game, no, I'm taking the Seattle Seahawks in this game. I don't think it's going to be particularly close. It's a 2.5-point spread. I hammered that 2.5-point spread. Absolutely. I think this could be a 10-point game. Give me the Seattle Seahawks to win 30-20 in this game. I have zero confidence that if the Seattle defense can get to Stafford, I think Devin Witherspoon will have a tremendous game at just pressing and locking down Puka as much as you can, because I think Puka right now is a true superstar wide receiver and the number one receiver in the league. I just think that this is going to come down to Stafford making some key mistakes, and if he starts making turnovers, you look at some of the games this season, Stafford turning the ball over ended up being either a big or the reason why they lose games.
Yeah.
It was why they lost against the Panthers. He couldn't stop fumbling, and I think he had an interception or two in that game. And then on the potentially game-winning drive or game-tying drive, he fumbles, sealing the game for the Panthers. If he gets into these little turnover spurts, it's going to be home sailing for the Seattle Seahawks.
He's not good under pressure, and the Seahawks bring the pressure. They're going to bring a lot of pressure on him. I agree with you. DeMarcus Lawrence is going to be fired up for this game. The rest of that defense, too, and they're going to bring the pressure on Stafford, and it's going to be hard for him. And he doesn't play well under pressure. He's the lowest-rated quarterback in the playoffs in terms of performance under pressure, and I think that's the main reason that I picked the Seahawks. That's the main reason.
Now 30-20, it again.
That's a pretty big difference.
Well, I could say 20-10, but that seems Matt Stafford MVP is going to score 10 points.
24-21.
Do you think it's a close game?
I think I do think the Seahawks will cover, but just barely. I do think the Rams defense is going to step up a little bit here. Their secondary played very well against the Bears last week.
Caleb Williams.
And Caleb Williams, you look at the quarterback ratings this year, Nate, he did pretty well. He didn't have a bad season.
Are you talking about QBR or passer rating? Because people tend to get that confused.
Yeah.
QBR is ESPN stat, passer rating is a calculated stat. So which one are you specifically talking about?
Overall...
Because I tell you right now, passer rating, Caleb Williams
would... I'm going to be talking about this in a few minutes, but
passer
he was
rating,
rated number 7 overall.
In what, passer rating or QBR?
Passer rating.
Okay, because I was going to say QBR, again, it's difficult to have an incredibly high QBR when you don't complete a lot of passes, like have a low completion percentage, because that factors into it. Yeah. Attempts and completions does factor into it. So, no, I thought Caleb Williams had a fine year. ESPN rated him a 58.3 in QBR scale 0 to 100, so he was above average by almost 10 points. But passer rating was a 90.1. So there is a little bit of growth there. So, yeah, I can't see Stafford all of a sudden just lighting up this defense. I can't see it at all. I know last time they played it was 38-37, but now you're that close to going back to the Super Bowl first time in, 11, 12 years? I think that the Seahawks are hungry, and McDonald has this new vibe, new energy, and this defense is playing with incredible amount of confidence. And you look at the Rams defense, it's going the opposite way. The offense doesn't look all that great. The other thing I'd say
about the Rams, they do have more experience in this in championship games. A lot more experience. This team, the Seahawks team, doesn't have any. Right? This is their first time they won a playoff game last week was in years. So and most of these players on this team, probably the first playoff game they've ever won. First one for Darnold. So
that's also why I thought you might pick the Rams. Sam Darnold got cooked by the Rams last year.
I just think their defense
he sucks against them.
I think and McDonald, their coach, and the defense, I think it's going to be too much for Stafford. I think the pressure is going to get to him. And I do like the Rams receiving core, right? Devontae Adams is back. The core is one of the best. Even that wide receiver, the Parkinson guy, he's pretty good too.
Yeah.
And so I think it'll be a close game, but I do think that the Seahawks are going to find a way to win. Number 1 seed.
So we're both saying it is a repeat of the 2014 Super Bowl, Patriots-Seahawks.
That'll be interesting.
Which, by the way, I pointed this out, and then I saw it, I think, yesterday, the day before. Everybody now, I think, or at least some of the major social media sports companies finally figured out that 3 out of the 4 of these scenarios are going to be repeat Super Bowls. And I was right. Broncos, Rams, have never played in a Super Bowl. So, again, 2013, Seahawks-Broncos, 2014, Patriots-Seahawks, 2018, Patriots-Rams. Those are the 3 scenarios, and then we could have a brand new one if somehow Jarrett Stidham in this defense pulls it out and beats the Patriots, and then Rams upset the Seahawks.
I don't think so. I got my right here.
Well, yeah. I mean, you're going to pick. You pick the Patriots.
I picked the Patriots every game this season. I think.
And you've been right.
Maybe I went against them a couple of times. I think, but I don't think so.
I would need to go back.
They had a light schedule in my mind, so it was easy to pick them.
Yeah. All right, coming up, the MVP finalists have been released. A couple of shocking ones, and then obviously this ends up being a 2-man race between Stafford and Drake May. Or is it? We'll make our predictions to see who wins the NFL MVP for 2025. We'll be right back in 30 seconds.
Using Wi-Fi without NordVPN could mean sharing your private stuff with more people than you think. Stay safe on public Wi-Fi. Get NordVPN's special offer and encrypt your internet connection. NordVPN. Online security starts with a click.
Welcome back to the Harvey Hour. My name is Nathan Harvey. It's great to have you in today on a Friday. As always, I'm joined alongside my dad, Stephen Harvey. Let's get into our next topic of today's show, which is the finalists for the 2025 NFL MVP have been released, and that would be Josh Allen, Trevor Lawrence, Drake May, Christian McCaffrey, and Matthew Stafford. Those are the 5 finalists. So ultimately, let's get right into the question. Who will take home the MVP award this year? Would it be Josh Allen, Trevor Lawrence, Drake May, CMC, or Matt Stafford?
Well, I'll go through my little analysis here. Stafford, I think he closed at minus 105 as the favorite to win the MVP, leading the league in passing yards and passing TDs in the regular season. He finished at the 5th seed in the NFC, but also played in the toughest division in the NFL and still made the NFC title game. So those are things in his favor. Drake May is second, plus 105. Who also led his team to the AFC Conference Championship, AFC. He completed over 70% of his passes and helped the Patriots to the number 2 seed in the AFC. The Patriots rebounded from 4 wins last year to 14 this year. That's amazing. And Trevor Lawrence, he's trailing the pack here at plus 15,000. Led a 11-game winning streak, which was big. Close out the season and win the AFC South. His passing numbers, though, are not close to Stafford and May. Josh Allen, plus 30,000, probably lost his chance to repeat as MVP when the Bills lost the AFC East to the Patriots and finishing 6th in the conference. His passing numbers are not close to either Stafford or May. His rushing was very successful, but May finished higher than him in the same division. Probably, I think that ruined his chances. McCaffrey, this is similar to him in the past. He had a great season a couple of years ago. We're talking about him for MVP. He didn't really come that close to it. He's plus 50,000. The 49ers come close to earning the number 1 seed in the NFC, second in the league in yards from scrimmage. I think he contributed a lot. They never would have been the team they were this year without him. He had 1,202 rushing yards, 10 TDs, 924 receiving yards, 7 TDs, 2,126 total yards, 17 touchdowns. Fantastic year. He handled a massive workload after being hurt most of last year and I think that was a major reason why the 49ers made it all the way to the divisional round. He was a comeback player of the year. But interestingly, he's second in total yards from scrimmage. Bijan Robinson beat him out. He had 2,298. Jonathan Taylor was third at 1963, and James Cook fourth, 1,912, and Jamar Gibbs at 1,839. My feeling is the MVP generally goes to a quarterback. It has for many years now. So it's going to be one of the quarterbacks, and I think it's either Stafford or May. I've done my analysis here. Stafford was the number 1 rated quarterback with 4,707 yards, 7.9 yards per attempt. Completed 65% of his passes, 388 completions. He had 46 touchdowns and 8 interceptions, a passer rating of 109.2, a QBR of 71, and 23 sacks. Jared Goff was second. I won't go through all the stats there. He had 4,564 yards. He had a great season. Just that the Lions didn't make the playoffs. Dak Prescott, another, he had 4,552 yards passing, and he had a great season too. But the Cowboys, again, they didn't make the playoffs. They really weren't that competitive in many of the games. Drake May was number 4, and he and Stafford are fighting it out here for the MVP, I think. And May at 4,394 yards, 8.9 yards per attempt, 72% completion percentage on 354 completions, 31 TDs and 8 interceptions, 113.5 passer rating, and a 77.1 QBR. He was sacked 47 times, so he was under a lot of pressure too. You look at the other competitors here. Lawrence was ranked number 6. He had 4,007 yards. I won't go through all of his stats, but his his QBR at 58.3. I'm surprised they ranked him as one of the top 5 finalists here. His passer rating at 91. He ranked pretty low. And then Josh Allen, he had 3,668 yards. His rushing yards were very good. His 8 yards per attempt passing, 69.4% completion percentage. His passer rating was 102.2, but his QBR was only 64.7. So if you do the Harvey rating system, my rating system, where you give the passer rating plus the QBR times 1.5 on the QBR, because to me, QBR says more about a quarterback's true performance and the decision-making and the strength of the defense that they play. A lot of other statistics go into that. A lot of the categories go into that statistic. I like it a lot, so I give it a 1.5 rating. When I do that for Stafford, May, Lawrence, and Allen, I come up with Stafford at 215.7 points. May blowing him away at 229.2 points. Lawrence and Allen trailing, with Allen at 199.3 and Lawrence at 178.5. I think Drake May is going to get the MVP.
No bias?
Well, maybe a little biased too, but the numbers speak for themselves.
Yeah, your numbers speak for themselves. And I will say that Harvey rating system is not built just for this. You've done it before.
I know.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying that for people who don't know.
Yeah.
So they see the Patriots get like, okay, this guy's biased. He makes the system. So Drake May
I
wins.
didn't make the system up. I mean,
well,
when
you
the
did
Patriots,
make the system up.
I made the system up, but
well,
I didn't make
it
to
for
bias for the Patriots, because the Patriots are horrible for the last 2 years. 2 years prior to this, and I had this system for 3 years.
Correct. I just want to add some little bit of context to add to this.
I didn't think
Kyler
Patriots
Murray through
bias.
the first month of the year was the 3rd best quarterback at one point based on that system.
He was.
So
he fell apart after that.
Correct.
But my numbers reflected that
too. Correct. Yeah. Absolutely. So for the NFL MVP, it has become the quarterback award. So CMC, you're out. Unfortunately, but you're out. So that narrows it down to 4. Josh Allen, you got beat out by one of the other candidates. I know the statistics say you have a slightly better season than you did last year, but one of the other finalists beat you out in the division and I think had better numbers than you. You're out. Okay, let's go to Trevor Lawrence. You're out anyway. You just don't have the numbers and you don't compete. You're out of the... I know the votes are already in before the playoffs even started, so I just think that, again, really slow start to the season, and then you picked it up the last 2 months of the year, so Trevor Lawrence, you're out. And so it's down to the final 2 players, as it has been for like the last 2-3 months, Drake May and Matt Stafford. And again, for a majority of my time doing this show, which now is beyond 4 years, if you've been here for the 4 years, thank you so much, but... for me, it's always been about getting it right, meaning head over heart. And my head says Stafford has more than 300 yards, more passing yards than Drake May, has 15 more passing touchdowns, same amount of interceptions, was an all-pro first team, and historically, there's only been 3 quarterbacks to ever win all-pro second team and win the MVP, most notably last year with Josh Allen, and look at the uproar it created when people thought that Lamar Jackson deserved it when he won all-pro first team. There's also a narrative of Drake May having a super easy schedule, a cakewalk through the season, and now people are saying a cakewalk through the Super Bowl. We'll see. But because there is that narrative, I think it will diminish what people think of his season in its entirety. Although you could look at it, and me saying that, I completely understand what a historic season this has been for Drake May, breaking some of even Tom Brady's Patriot records. He had a 72% completion percentage when entering this season. PFF graded the Patriots receiving core 31st in the league. Because nobody expected Stephon Diggs to kind of be the old Stephon Diggs a little bit. Mac Hollins to have the impact that he did. Kayshon Boutte out of Matt Patricia's doghouse, all of a sudden now exploding onto the scene again. Kyle Williams having some of the most explosive touchdowns we've seen all year. Travion Henderson being a really good running back with Ramondre Stevenson out. Hunter Henry doing his thing that he's always done since he came over to the New England Patriots. Nobody expected the Patriots to be this good all around, or at least to some people maybe have a mirage and just look this good. Maybe they're not actually this good, and maybe one day they'll get exposed for the quote-unquote frauds that they are due to how easy their schedule was. And again, that was a little bit of my concern. How battle-tested would they be? How battle-ready would they be? But I think it has to go to Stafford. I understand the records, and obviously winning does matter because I think personally, when you break a record, you should be top 5. I thought Myles Garrett should be a part of this, just based on the dominant season that he had. I probably wouldn't have included Josh Allen. I think there was way too much up and down this entire season. So if there was somebody I would replace, it would be Myles Garrett in for Josh Allen. Because when you set a record that stood for more than a decade, more than 2 decades, I think, yeah, you got to put him in. You got to put him in some NFL honors. I know he's not going to win it, but you got to at least give him that credibility. But yeah, for me, it's going to be Matt Stafford. I just think that the numbers speak for themselves, and a lot of people look at numbers and say that's the end-all, be-all. I think there is some precedent that the All-Pro first team quarterback normally wins the MVP, and then you delegate the All-Pro second team to maybe winning Offensive Player of the Year, which also Drake May was a finalist for. So we could see potentially a situation where Drake May wins Offensive Player of the Year, and Matt Stafford is the MVP. Because again, remember last year the amount of crazy uproar that Lamar Jackson didn't win the MVP last year and Josh Allen won.
I just think you look at Drake May's QBR, and even though Stafford had the more difficult schedule, right? QBR kind of adjusts for that, right? So 77.1 to 71, that's quite a big difference.
Well, that was an argument for Brock Purdy years ago, we have to remember. Had the highest QBR, highest yards per attempt. No, he got absolutely cooked by his own running back.
Yeah, well.
But that big of a gap is interesting.
Yeah, but I do think the argument for Stafford is the more difficult schedule and the playing in a division where there were 3 teams that went to the playoffs. So I think that the voters
not only that, 3 teams that won 12 more games.
That's right. The voters may take that into consideration, and maybe rightfully so. And in one way, I kind of hope Stafford wins it because no MVP quarterback has ever won the Super Bowl. Never been an MVP that won the Super Bowl.
Are we sure about that?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure there's not been an MVP that won the Super Bowl.
Mahomes didn't win it? Yes. Several quarterbacks. Yeah, Mahomes did. 2022, Patrick Mahomes, Kurt Warner, 1999, Steve Young, Joe Montana, Terry Bradshaw, Bart Starr.
They were the MVP and they won the Super Bowl?
Let's see. 7 quarterbacks won league MVP and Super Bowl in the same season. Yeah.
I'm wrong about
It's
that.
historically rare in the 21st century.
Okay, well,
with Mahomes being the only one.
Okay, well, okay. There you go.
Or are those some examples that I'm getting quickly off Google? But yes. Generally, no. The MVP has not won the Super Bowl.
Right. So.
Well, that's a different conversation. That's going back 2 topics ago.
I think it would be really interesting to see the Rams against the Patriots with those 2 quarterbacks going head-to-head.
That would be
1 and 2 in the MVP voting. I really think that would be interesting, particularly if May won it, right? Because then Stafford would be like, wait a minute. How'd that happen?
So just to clarify a little bit, they're up to the 2022 Super Bowl with Mahomes versus the Philadelphia Eagles. No quarterback in the 21st century that won MVP won the Super Bowl.
Okay.
So there's been 1 this entire century.
Yeah. The way the Chiefs won that game was cheap.
You still salty about that?
A little bit.
Bradshaw holding on to Juju Smith-Schuster.
Yeah.
Again, I hate those calls that decide the game.
Yeah, I know.
Absolutely
you don't like the refs having a
Logan. I still remember Phantom Hold. Go back in the show. It's one of the first shows we've ever done. Logan Wilson Phantom Hold on Cooper Kupp. Matt Stafford Super Bowl. Phantom Hold on Logan Wilson.
I know.
Wasn't a hold.
You don't like to see
Wasn't
the
a
refs
hold.
having an impact on the winner or loser.
Especially in the Super Bowl.
I know.
Again, if it's a week 3 game, it'll suck. People talk about it for all of 5 minutes. In the Super Bowl, you
talk
have to
about
let
it for
them play.
a year.
People are complaining about the last drive of the Broncos had 53 penalty yards. Who cares? They were going to win anyway. Josh Allen was cooked. So, I don't know. Whatever. Regardless. No, give me Matt Stafford. Again, I would like it to be Drake May because I understand, all the context behind the season. He broke some of Tom Brady's records. Again, if you break a record and it's the GOAT record, you need some level of push in your odds. But people are going to look at it, okay, they had the easiest schedule I think they had the 4th easiest schedule of all time. So people are going to look at that, okay, there's a little bit of an asterisk next to what Drake May did, which I guess is kind of fair. But again, they don't make the schedule. They just play the teams on their schedule. And by the way, nobody thought the Patriots would be this good when the schedule dropped. It was just in the last, 2 months? People are talking about how easy this 2-3 months. People are talking about the Patriots, quote unquote, cakewalk. Nobody said this back in May. Nobody said this in June and July. When everyone thought, okay, the Patriots, they just went 4-13. I think their over-under was 7.5. They nearly doubled that this season.
Yeah, people were sour that that the Patriots were so good that they had to say that the schedule was the reason.
Well, the schedule is incredibly easy, but we didn't know that entering the season. Again, nobody talked about this in June. Oh, the Patriots. Oh, I could see them going to the Super Bowl. Oh, no, they'll definitely be in the AFC Championship.
I thought there were a number of places.
Nobody even thought they'd make the division.
I thought they were saying they could win 11 games. I thought they were.
We said that.
Oh.
We went through the schedule.
Okay.
And we thought, okay, well, let's see. Patriots. Okay, Patriots. Okay, Mike Vrabel. Yep, that'll definitely be a win when maybe Gerard Mayo would have been a loss. We said it was 11 games. The over-under, the odds maker said, I think, 7.5 or 8.5. Nobody thought they were winning the division.
Yeah.
Not a soul. And now they're in the AFC Championship game, 60 minutes away from making it to the Super Bowl.
Amazing.
So, I understand now.
The good old days are back. I saw a sign in the stadium there last week. It said, the good old days are back. Yeah.
All right, that does wrap up today's show of the Harvey Hour. We appreciate the constant support as always. We're very, very close to 2,000 subscribers, so thank you all for being here along the journey. The channel did turn 4 years old, or I guess the show turned 4 years old 6 days ago, so we thank you for the constant support over the last 4 years. We will be back on Tuesday to recap all of the championship games, AFC, NFC. We'll see, any more coaching news. Mike McDaniel, will he go over to maybe the Buffalo Bills, or will he stay as the OC of the Chargers? We'll talk about that, I'm sure, at some point. Also, what will the new GM and head coach think of Tua Tagovailoa? Also, Eric Bieniemy back. Does that mean Tyreek Hill will join him? Some social media, stirring going on out there. I'm sure we'll talk about it.
Didn't the Ravens pick the head coach,
right?
They
picked Jesse Minter, former defensive coordinator of the Chargers, and he was a defensive back coach, I believe, for the Baltimore Ravens before that. So he's familiar with the franchise. So it's interesting that, have him be brought back to be their head coach. Mm-hmm. Again, I'm sure we'll talk about it. The whole goal was so they can maximize Lamar Jackson and get everything out of him. To me, it sounds like you're going to try to have the defense hold teams to like 16 points a game. To me, that didn't make a lot of sense. If that's unlocking Lamar Jackson,
I think it should.
So be it.
We've talked about this. They need to run Derrick Henry some more. That would be to me the recipe for more wins.
Well, supposedly they want to unleash Lamar Jackson, get everything they can out of Lamar.
How are they unleashing him if they're focusing on the defense?
Well, I'm not saying they're focusing on the defense. They just hired a defensive coach.
Yeah. Well, you said they're going to try to keep the points down to 16 points.
Well, that's what I'm assuming.
Oh.
Because how are you going to unlock Lamar Jackson?
Well, he's going to have to be out on the field more. If the defense can stop those long drives and not cave in the fourth quarter the way the Ravens have been doing.
That maybe could be it.
Yeah.
Instead of a 43-40 game where the Bills kick a game-winning field goal, maybe the Ravens stay up at 40 points and you hold teams to 20 points. Now it goes from a 3-point loss to a 20-point victory.
Well, that will be a success then if that works out that way for them. But I'm not sure I see it.
I don't mind the hire, and we'll talk about this, I'm sure, at some point. I don't mind the hire. Just the goal of what they said like a month ago about what they were looking for doesn't exactly line up if you're going with Jesse Minter. Mm-hmm. But that's me.
He lost out to in the Miami, right? It was between him and who got the Miami? Oh, and
Jeff Hafley.
Hafley. It was between him and Hafley, and it
was been what the Titans were going for. Matt Nagy and Robert Saleh.
Although I'm sorry, I have it wrong. It was Nagy, right, against Saleh.
That's the Titans.
The Titans. It was the Titans
that
was competition, and they picked Saleh.
Most
people are very
right
happy.
Choice.
I think so. Yeah,
right choice because people were not happy.
I'm
with
happy
the way the Chiefs
Saleh got another job.
Well, he deserved it. It's just in 3 years.
I predict their defense will be much better.
They need so much. We talked about that on Tuesday. They need so much. All right, I think that does wrap up today's show. Oh, there we go. Thank you for the constant support as always. We'll be back on Tuesday to recap all the games for this episode. My name is Nathan Harvey. That's Stephen Harvey. We have been your co-host of the Harvey Hour. Catch us Tuesday around 6:30 p.m. Eastern right here on YouTube.
Good night, Grandpa.
Using Wi-Fi without NordVPN could mean sharing your private stuff with more people than you think. Stay safe on public Wi-Fi. Get NordVPN's special offer and encrypt your internet connection. NordVPN. Online security starts with a click.